Well, the reason the UK wants to take international leadership on the issue of climate change and agriculture is quite simple. The UK has for many years seen climate change as the most significant global challenge that we face as a world, and has played its part in the negotiations and agreements that have been set up to now in that international framework. So we see the importance of addressing every sector of the economy in relation to the climate change challenge, and agriculture is no exception. We have been thinking about that issue for a few years, and we see it as essential that we work with a range of important international partners to do that. Now, France is a major partner country in the work on climate change, and it's very important, therefore, that we also work with France when it comes to agriculture and climate change. It's quite simple. Really, one of the most important. Germany is also important too, and about a year ago we held a workshop of a similar nature to this in Berlin to discuss these issues with our German counterparts. And at the international level, we are also collaborating very closely with the Chinese government to think about how collectively we can make progress in reducing the carbon impacts of agriculture. In the UK, one of the things we've done, which is I think unique at this stage, is to have a Climate Change Act which was passed through our Parliament at the end of last year, and part of that was to set up an independent advisory body called the Climate Change Committee. They produced their first report advising government on what could be done, and as part of that they undertook some analysis to look at what is called the marginal abatement costs, i.e. how much would it cost to take different measures to reduce greenhouse gas emissions from agriculture. And that produces a range of options for activities that farmers and land managers can take to reduce their impact on the climate system, some of which are very, very cheap, some of which are quite expensive. And the ones that are cheap are not only some of them cheap, some of them actually save money for farmers. They're very cost effective. They're a bit like energy efficiency, where you automatically, if you do it right, you will reduce your greenhouse gas emissions, but you'll also save money. So some of those measures are quite simple. They revolve around taking action to reduce the use of fertiliser, to apply it at the right time of year and in the right soil and moisture conditions, or to deal with your livestock in different ways according to what you feed them and how you breed them. Those are quite simple and should save farmers a lot of money. There are other measures that can be taken that are usually cost effective, for instance the production of biogas from dealing with manure through anaerobic digestion, and also sometimes adding energy crops or food waste to get a higher output of the biogas. And then there are some more expensive things at the upper level of that graph, the marginal abatement cost graph, which are not yet fully understood and may cost more and certainly need more research. So more research and cooperation between the UK and France and other countries on research is a vital part of this agenda. Most of what we've been talking about so far in the seminar we've had here in Paris today has been about the role of farmers, the role of land managers in changing their production practices. But none of that will work if there's no market for these products. So we need to make sure that the whole food chain, as we call it in the UK, is involved in this process. It's very important to raise the awareness of consumers, and particularly to make sure that the retailers, the big supermarket chains, and you have 5 or 6 in France, we have 5 or 6 powerful ones in the UK, that these are interested and willing to act. Now, if people do this cleverly, if the farmers are smart, if they look for cost-effective solutions, this shouldn't increase the price of products on the shelf. What we need to do is make sure that that message gets through to consumers and to the retail sector, and also to restaurateurs and the food service sector, because a lot of food is eaten outside the home, both in France and in the UK. So the whole food chain needs to think about the role they play. We need consumers to want lower carbon food products, and then farmers will produce it. We've seen that in other sectors of industry. I don't see any reason why it can't happen in this sector too. We know farmers are very innovative, very creative businesses, and we know French farmers especially produce wonderful food. So we hope you'll continue to have wonderful French food that is also lower carbon.